Disrespectfully, I can think of nothing less attractive on this planet than people who play victim all the time. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to just like pull you out of whatever situation that you're in and put you in the situation that you want to be in. That's literally not how life works. I understand that things are hard. I understand that you don't like your life. I understand that you're crying, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling lonely. All of those feelings are valid. Do not misconstrue my message. All of the feelings that you're feeling right now are valid. The problem is when you expect someone else to give you a different feeling than the one that you're in right now. Everyone is worried about themselves. You need to take control over your life. And I'm being harsh because you need to hear it this way. I need you to understand that if you're somebody who plays victim, then you're afraid of the idea that you have power over your life. That terrifies you because guess what? Where there is great power comes great responsibility. And where there is great responsibility comes the potential for a lot of blame. When you see the CEOs of a company who have to answer to this board of directors or their investors, whoever it is, in some cases both. And that CEO, yes, they get the nice car, they get the designated parking spot, they get to come to work in their suits and ties and boss up, right? But when that CEO makes poor hiring decisions, does not meet her revenue goals, guess whose ass it is? Her ass, okay? Because who is all of that blame going to fall on when things don't go right? They're going to fall on the person who has the most power in that situation. I'm giving you this metaphor because you are the CEO of your life. You are the CEO, but you don't want to believe that you're the CEO. You want to believe that it's someone else's job to come in and produce results on your behalf, because that way, when things don't go right, you're already assuming they're not going to go right. You can be mad at them. Your toxic ex, the fact that fast food is cheaper than healthy food, the algorithm, whoever it is that you're blaming things on, or whatever it is that you're blaming things on, just understand, number one, those things are never going to save you or work in your favor because they're not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. And number two, the only reason that you're doing that is because you're trying to deflect power and therefore blame outside of yourself. The day that you decide that you're in charge is the day that you take charge. Is the day that you put yourself in that position, you reappoint yourself in your position to actually change outcomes for your life. I was doing this for the longest time when it came to my weight. And I was the first person to say that I don't play victim. I grew up with people who always had the woe is me mentality. You know those people who, they just always find a way to make a story about how someone did them wrong. Every story that they tell is how they trusted this person. I shouldn't have trusted her because she stole my man. Or, I don't know, I shouldn't have wasted my time on that person. They didn't want to learn. Like there's always this like self-righteous but also victim tone to everything that they say. I was always turned off by those types of people. Like it was a red flag for me. If every single story you told me, you're somehow the one that was wrong, then everyone else was the villain. That's a huge red flag. Now, I don't do that with my relationships. I tend to be very accountable when it comes to relationships. Even with people who were toxic or abusive, I recognize that I was in that relationship. Nobody was holding a gun to my head. Nobody was forcing me to be with that person. So in a lot of ways, I am responsible for the things that they did. It might not be my fault that someone was abusive, but it was my responsibility to pull myself out of that. The reason that I had no freaking idea that I was being a little victim when it came to my weight is because I wasn't necessarily blaming anyone else. But pay attention to where you give your power away. Just because you're not giving it away to another person does not mean that you're not giving it away. So I would say things like, maybe my metabolism just isn't as good, or the scale is just so unpredictable. Or sometimes I would blame Ahmed, I'm not gonna lie. Ahmed always orders pizza and fast food, which is true. And it's just so hard to be on a regimen when your partner is just out here eating all this crazy stuff. Now, mind you, none of those statements are false. Yes, the scale is hella unpredictable. Yes, my husband had a habit. He's now since changed because I've influenced him positively, but we'll get to that. My husband has had a habit of getting on Uber Eats once, sometimes twice a day, and eating his pizzas and his Chick-fil-A's and whatever. And yes, it's true that maybe my metabolism is potentially slower. I don't actually even know. But none of those things have power over my decision to lose weight. Like if I want to lose weight, I could lose weight. It's literally just a mathematical equation. I did not want to accept the simplicity of it because I wanted to be able to blame something else for the fact that I wasn't producing results. Mind you, I'm saying this now from an enlightened perspective, but at the time, I genuinely didn't realize that I was sabotaging myself. I really put that belief in all of these other things. And I didn't realize that me giving that power away to the scale, to my body just being dysfunctional. I really did think my body was dysfunctional. Me giving my power to those things, me giving my power to the fact that Ahmed orders food all the time. I didn't realize that that was a self-sabotage tactic, that I just wanted to create blame outside of myself because I felt like I wasn't going to produce results and I didn't want to hate myself for that. Now, before I go on, I just want to be real with you. You play victim more likely than not because your internal narrator is brutal. That voice in your head, she's lethal. She is rude. She is mean. She is toxic. And you're terrified of what she'll have to say about you if you don't produce the results that you want. Imagine, again, bring back the CEO metaphor. Imagine you are hired at a company where your investor, your top investor, is an abusive egomaniac. You would be terrified coming into work every day, wouldn't you? You would be so scared that you wouldn't produce those results because of what this person is going to have to say about you. You would be so terrified to fail because you know that the things that this person is going to say and do to you are going to be so brutal. That is what is happening inside of your head. And so because your internal narrator is so judgmental and so mean, you want to be able to point blame so that when they come to you like, why haven't you lost weight? Why haven't you made more money? You can point to all these other things as a deflective tool to protect yourself from that voice. I had to learn that the hard way because there were a couple of times where I was starting to take more responsibility. And that's when I realized like, oh, the way I talk to myself when I don't succeed is so mean. So all this time, I've just been trying to protect myself from that voice. So that's the more empathetic lens to why you play victim, but I'm still not gonna like coddle you. I need you to stop because you're still making that decision. There are so many ways to quell that voice in your head and tame it. Journaling, this little journal right here is saving my life because the way that I talk to myself when I journal, I'm able to get those thoughts out and hold them object and understand that even if my thoughts are mean, are super mean, they are not me. These are my thoughts. There's a separation between me and them. They don't define me. So even if my internal narrator is telling me that I'm unproductive and I'm fat and I suck and I'm lazy, I don't identify with those thoughts because I've put them on paper and there's now a separation. I get to choose if I want to identify and believe in those things or if I want to throw them in the trash can because they're not productive. So that's one tactic to help kind of create some distance and boundaries between your thoughts and your identity. Just understand though that you are not helping yourself. You're just creating even more opportunity for your thoughts to be negative as long as you are giving power to things that don't hold power over you. If you want something, you are what will either stand in the way between you and that thing or facilitate you meeting that thing. The power is in your hands to get that job, to get your body goals, whatever those are, to meet the person of your dreams and attract healthy love. You cannot be projecting power out into things that really hold no power over you because you are the one that decides what your life can and should look like. So understand that it's nobody else's job to do that for you. It's not your partner's job to make your reality look better. It's not even your employer's job to lobby on your behalf. It is your job. Nobody is going to hold your hand and do any of that stuff. But what's crazy is when you decide to take responsibility over your life, the entire freaking universe will conspire in your favor. If that sounds familiar, it's from The Alchemist, and you should go read that book. But when you make a conscious decision to take responsibility over your life, to be intentional about your life, the freaking world will rally in your favor. But when you disempower yourself and give power to things that have no business having that power, then you will be the one empowering those things to resist you. Look at how ironic that is. Even the things that you think are ruining your life are only powerful because you've injected them with that power. So just as you gave that power away to something outside of yourself, you can bring that power back into yourself. So if it was yours to give away, it's literally yours to take back. Let 2024 be the year where you're the one either standing up to accept the applause or to take the blame. And I know that that sounds scary, but the rest of your life is on the other end of you having the courage to be the one responsible for your outcomes. This one hit me hard when I heard it. Your results are telling the truth about you. Whatever it is in your life, everything, your relationships, your finances, your career success, your body image, your results are telling the truth about you. When you hear that and you accept it, that's how you'll know that you're finally taking responsibility over your life. But as long as that sounds offensive and as long as you want to punch me for saying that, you have not yet taken responsibility over your life. So comment below and let me know whether or not you were ready to receive that message, because I'm really excited to see how your life will change once you are willing to accept a lot more responsibility over the things that you create. I love you so much, and as always, stay powerful, my loves.